Bashu, renowned as the land of heavenly plenty throughout history, is home to the most famous martial arts sect, the Tong sect. The location of the Tong sect is a mysterious place. Many only know that it's halfway up a mountain, and the peak of the mountain where the Tong sect resides has a terrifying name, Ghost Valley. If a stone is thrown from the cliff of Ghost Valley, it takes at least 19 seconds to hear the echo of it hitting the bottom of the mountain. This height surpasses even the 18 layers of hell, earning it its name. A young man dressed in gray stood at the peak of Ghost Valley. The biting mountain wind couldn't move his body at all. From the large Butongi character on his chest, one could recognize that he was from the Tong sect. The gray clothes represented that he was an outer disciple of the Tong sect. He was 29 years old. Since he was taken in by Elder Tong Lon of the outer sect when he was just a baby, he ranked third among the outer disciples. Thus, he was called a third young master by the outer disciples. Of course, among the inner disciples, he was known as Tong San. Since its establishment, the Tong sect has been divided into two branches, inner and outer. The outer branch consists of disciples from other families or those granted the Tong surname, while the inner branch consists of direct descendants of the Tong family. At this moment, Tong San's expression was very complex, sometimes smiling, sometimes crying. But no matter what, he couldn't hide his excitement from deep within. 29 years had passed since he was picked up by Elder Tong Lon of the outer sect when he was just a baby. The Tong sect had been his home ever since, and the Tong sect's hidden weapons were his everything. Suddenly, Tong San's expression changed abruptly, but he quickly calmed down. He muttered to himself with some bitterness, "It's finally time." 17 figures, 17 white figures, leaped from the mountainside towards the peak. The youngest among them was over 50 years old. They all looked serious. They wore white robes, representing the inner sect, and the golden Tong Ji on their chests symbolized them as Tong sect elders. The Tong sect's inner elder hall, including the head Tong De, had a total of 17 elders. The 17 elders who ascended the mountain at this time were all of them. Even the martial arts assembly couldn't possibly summon all the Tong sect elders at once. Among these Tong sect elders, the oldest was over 200 years old. The cultivation of these Tong sect elders had reached the pinnacle of transformation. In the blink of an eye, they had reached the mountaintop. When the outer disciples saw the inner elders, they could only kneel to greet them. However, Tong San didn't move at this moment. He just quietly watched as these solemn elders came before him, blocking all ways out, with Ghost Valley behind him. Putting down the 3 Buddha's Rage Tong lotus flowers, Tong San cast one last reluctant glance and a faint smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. After all, he had succeeded. After 20 years of hard work, he had finally completed the pinnacle work of the Tong family's outer sect hidden weapons. The satisfaction of this achievement was beyond words. At this moment, Tong San felt that nothing else mattered to him. Whether it was breaking the rules of the sect or life and death, it all seemed to come to an end with these 3 blooming Tong lotuses. The Buddha's Rage Tong lotus, the most domineering hidden weapon in the world, was born in his hands. What could be more exciting for Tong San, who had immersed himself in hidden weapons his whole life? I know that sneaking into the inner sect, learning the sect's supreme skills without permission, is an unforgivable crime according to the rules. But Tong San swears to the heavens that he has never leaked any of the sect's supreme skills to the outside world. I say this not to seek the elders' forgiveness, but to tell the elders that Tong San has never forgotten his roots. Not in the past, nor in the future. Tong San's emotions were calm at this moment, perhaps the calmest moment of his life. Looking at the large, ancient courtyard of the Tong sect at the foot of the mountain, feeling the air belonging to the Tong sect, Tong San's eyes moistened. Since he was a child, he had been born for the Tong sect. And now, it was time to go for the pursuit of his life again, for the sake of the Tong sect. The elders didn't speak. They hadn't yet recovered from the appearance of the Buddha's Rage Tong lotus. 200 years, a full 200 years, and the Buddha's rage Tong lotus appeared in the hands of an outer sect disciple. What did this mean? This represented the arrival of another peak for the Tong sect, an absolute peak that even the people of the Tong sect couldn't resist. Seeing the elders bowing their heads in silence, Tong San smiled confidently. Everything Tong San has is given by the Tong sect. Whether it's life or the abilities I possess, they are all bestowed by the Tong sect. No matter when, Tong San lives for the Tong sect, and death is the Tong sect's ghost. I know the elders won't allow the body of an outer disciple, who violates the rules, to remain in the Tong sect. If that's the case, let me be buried in the nature of Bashu. Tong San's calm and even excited voice finally woke up the elders. When the elders looked at him, they saw a layer of milky white energy spreading from him. In the Xian Tian scripture, you actually learned the highest inner skill in the Xian Tian scripture?
Tong exclaimed.
With a loud explosion, as the elders all stepped back to guard against the unexpected, what they saw was Tong San completely naked. Tong San laughed, his smile brilliant. I came naked, and I leave naked. The Buddha's rage Tong lotus is the last gift Tong San leaves to the sect. Now, other than myself, I'm not taking anything else from the Tong sect. The secret books are under the first brick inside the door of my room. Tong San will return everything to the Tong sect now. Ha ha ha. Tong San laughed wildly, suddenly stepping back. At this moment, the elders of the Tong sect suddenly realized that no one had time to stop him. His body, enveloped in white light, soared into the air like lightning toward Ghost Valley in front. Wait. Tong finally reacted, but it was too late for anything he said now. The mist was thick, carrying dampness and taking away the sunlight, as well as Tong San, who had devoted his life to the Tong sect and hidden weapons. Time seemed to stand still. Tong tremblingly picked up the 3 Tong lotuses before him. His eyes were moist. Tong San, oh Tong San, why did you do this? You have given us too much surprise. A big brother, the second elder stepped forward. Why be sad for this traitor? Mr. Tong's gaze instantly turned cold, his whole body exuding a chilling aura as he stared at the second elder. Who do you call a traitor? Have you ever seen a traitor who doesn't flee after obtaining the sect's highest secret? Have you ever seen a traitor who chooses death over betrayal? Have you ever seen someone possessing a peerless weapon capable of destroying any master of the Tong sect, but gives it as a final gift to the sect? Tong San is not a traitor. He is the most outstanding genius the sect has seen in 200 years. The second elder was taken aback. But he learned the sect's techniques without permission. Mr. Tong abruptly interrupted. If you could produce the Buddha's rage Tong lotus, I wouldn't care what you steal. You are wrong, and I am wrong. Just a moment ago, we watched helplessly as the opportunity for the Tong sect to shine again slipped away before our eyes. The elders gathered around, their expressions complex, confusion, sorrow, sighs, but mostly regret. There's no need for further words. Spread my order. All disciples of the sect are to mobilize, search for Tong San under Ghost Valley. We want him alive or dead. At the same time, from this moment onwards, Tong San is promoted to an inner disciple of the sect. If he is still alive, he will be the sole candidate for my position as the head. Yes, head. The elders all bowed simultaneously in obedience. If Tong San were still on this cliff at this moment, even in death, he would surely be comforted. His efforts had not been in vain. But all of this came a bit too late. Ghost Valley, where it takes 19 seconds for a stone to fall, seemingly surpassing the existence of the 18 layers of hell, how could it allow a living person to return from the mist? Tong San had left. He had left this world forever, but his another destiny had just begun.